Hi pen fans, this is your personal pen maker, Brian at Edison Pen, edisonpen.com. Hey, it is that time of year for our annual limited edition group buy. For those of you that have participated in this in the past, you pretty much know how this works, but of course I'd like to cover this because this is the one time, well, this is the only time that you'll ever find an Edison pen discounted in any way. We only do this once a year. Typically we do this in the spring. Last year we delayed it until about August, and this year I appreciate there's been a lot of talk about this around the forums and social media. That means a lot to me. I appreciate it that you guys are excited about this, and obviously right now we're going to do it in October. So, you know, we'll always do this once a year, but the exact timing is kind of difficult to predict according to what our schedule is, but the timing is right at this point, so we're going to go ahead with this. So, first of all, before I get too far into this, I want to make sure that everybody knows, if you haven't done this before and you don't know how the logistics work, I mean, you might be watching this on YouTube, you might be reading this on a blog reader, wherever you're seeing this, make sure that you go to edisonpen.com and look at the blog post, because I'm going to spell out every single logistic as to how this works. This is not the normal way that you're going to buy an Edison pen from us, and I want to make sure that if you're going to buy this pen, that you understand exactly how it's going to work, because it's not the typical way that we sell our pens. So make sure you go over to edisonpen.com if you're interested to look at all those logistics. I will cover, you know, what I can in here, but it's a lot easier to spell it out in text on the website. So what we are going to do this year, it's going to be a limited edition Mina. It's going to be a Mina with special, I wouldn't say special, but a different shape, and I'll explain that later, and also a unique nib that we've never used before. So this really will be something interesting that we've never done before. We're going to offer the extended version and the standard version in both acrylic and ebonite. Now, if you realize, you know, if you remember from our previous group buys, it's always one pen with two materials. Well, technically now we have two pens and two materials, so we're going to have four options, which will make it a little more logistics on our end, but we couldn't justify putting the Mina into a group buy without having both the extended and the standard, because I think that, you know, the standard fits some people perfectly and the extended fits some people perfectly, so we decided to go ahead and offer both at this time. So I'll show you the pen in a little bit, but let me cover a couple of logistics here in the video. What we will do is we will take orders starting today. The buying period will go for 3 weeks, okay? After this buying period, once the buying period is closed, we take no more orders, no exceptions. Once that buying period is closed, then we get our materials ordered, they show up, and then we start manufacturing. So because of this, you should realize that, you know, if you place your order today, it's quite possible that this pen might be, you know, 2 to 4 months. Now, you know, 3 weeks for the buying period, about a week or so to get our materials, maybe less, I'm not sure. And then we start manufacturing. From the time we start manufacturing, I would say 1 to 2 months. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows exactly what that timeline is like. You're not going to buy this pen and then you get it within a week. It's going to take a little bit longer due to the buying period, due to the materials getting here, and then us manufacturing. So just want to make sure everybody is aware of that. Now, you should know, however long it takes us to make, it won't be a surprise to you, because the same as the way we do this every year, we're going to have updates on our blog. So, you know, when the materials get here, I'll put a photo up and you'll see everything that's, you know, coming together for the pens. As the materials are turning into pens, we're going to document that. So if I remember correctly, last time when we were doing this, I think I put up at least 4 or 5 blog posts to keep everybody updated. So the bottom line is, you know, as long as you're paying attention to our blog, there won't be any surprises as to when this pen is going to be, you know, shipped to you. So, and also, now that we're doing Periscope, I'm sure that we'll be doing plenty of updates on Periscope regarding this. So not just blog posts, but of course some good Periscope updates would be a good idea, and we'll definitely do that as well. So the pricing on this, normally our Minas are $200. The pricing on this will be $170 for the acrylic version and $175 for the ebonite version. Like I said, the only time that you'll find an Edison pen at any discount is this buying period. So again, I'm going to show you the pen in a second, but again, let me stress this once again. If you're interested in buying this pen, make sure you go to edisonpen.com. Check out the blog post. I haven't written it yet, but it'll probably say 2014 limited edition Mina group buy. Make sure you read all those logistics so that you know exactly what to expect and that there's no surprises, okay? So let me show you this pen. Okay, this is the acrylic version of this limited edition pen, and that's the standard sized Mina. The material is called silver amber. We've been using this in the signature line for a while now. It's one of our favorites. I think that you can see that it has those nice amber tones complemented by these silver, darker black tones. And there's a lot of pearlization, or my favorite word is chatoyance, basically lots of depth. But also, I mean, well, the picture just left, but I'll show you a better view of that nib. The nib is what I think is really special about this, as well as the flatter ends. I'll explain why we did the flat ends in a little bit, but you can kind of see how normally the Mina has a rounded end to them, but we flatten these, and I'll explain why in a second. But take a look at that nib. That's what we really are excited about with this new pen. And I think that these, this little video here can kind of give you an appreciation as to the shine, the depth, the pearlization, the chatoyance, and how this pen is really going to look when you see it live. We're happy with how this turned out. And obviously these videos are kind of alternating between the standard sized version and the extended version, so I think you can probably tell which is which, but this is the silver amber version. Okay, and here's the ebonite version. The ebonite is called denim ebonite. It's kind of like a more subtle, darker blue, black ebonite. Some of you might remember that we kind of narrowed down our ebonite offerings about a year ago because we found some ebonites that were much better than what we were previously using. The pattern on these are much more uniform, kind of like those cathedral arches, and then also this ebonite also takes a much better shine than what we've used in the past. And I think that this kind of shows it off really well. Also, you can kind of see how this material really looks. Dark ebonites are very difficult to photograph, but I think that this video right here does a good job of what you should expect when you see it live. Okay, and right here you are seeing why we decided to do the end caps to be flat. The reason is that the typical shape to the Mina, which is rounded on the ends, will not take an engraving. If we have a curved surface, our laser will lose focus over that curved surface, and therefore it makes it really impossible for us to put any kind of engraving on the Mina as it exists with the curved ends. So I guess there's two reasons. Number one, I kind of like the idea of the way that the flat-ended Mina looks. It is pretty sharp, and it also gives us the ability to put an engraving on this that we normally wouldn't be able to. So in this picture, you see that we have AP engraved on both of these. The AP stands for Artist Proof, which are these two pens that you're seeing right here. On the real version, it will say, 1 of 100, or however many we make, however many we take in for an order. The engraving will not say AP, it will say 1 of 100, 2 of 100, 3 of 100, you get the idea. Okay, and because these nibs are pretty unique, I also wanted to give some better photos of just the nibs. They are really cool. We haven't actually come up with a name for these yet. They kind of look like a torpedo shape. But I wanted to give a little video here so that you could see what the shape is like. Instead of the typical rounded or curved sides that most nibs are, these are kind of like angular on the sides. And I think they're a really, really pretty slick and neat look. Now, the one thing I will say, the only downside to this nib is that we can only get them in extra fine, fine, and medium. That's all that we can offer on this pen. There are no broads or italics. But now, however, fear not. If you're disappointed by not being able to have a broad and italic, then the good news about these is that the housings for these nibs are identical to what we use for our normal number 5 nibs. So if you would like to have a broad or a 1.1 or a 1.4 italic, then you can buy the pen as is, and then you can trade out for any other Edison number 5 nib aftermarket. And lastly, I just wanted to put up a quick shot showing the two pens side by side. These are the standard sized Minas, but I thought it'd be neat just to have a shot so that you can kind of see them next to each other. Okay, so I think that covers everything. Again, pricing for the acrylic versions will be $170. Pricing for the ebonite versions will be $175. The buying period will start right now, and it will end in 3 weeks. So on Saturday the 24th at 11:59 p.m., that's when we'll close out the buying period, and then we won't take any orders after that, with no exceptions. So now I realize that there's a lot to this. There's a lot of logistics. Like I said earlier, please go to edisonpen.com to read the entire blog post so that you understand exactly what the procedure is for this. And not only that, if you want to buy the pen, that's where you need to go anyways. That's where our Buy It Now buttons will be. So if anybody has any questions, just go ahead and put them in the comment section of wherever you're watching this, and we'll look forward to making this pen for you, okay? Thanks a lot.